ghastly, most sinister crimes that the modern world has witnessed. The Fête de la Musique festival, which was meant to unite a nation in music, in song, turned into a night of horror. Across France, 145 people reported being stabbed with needles. Now, there are fears that these needles may have been laced with date-rape drugs. But there's no official confirmation yet on this. 13 cases confirmed have been in Paris. Some victims were rushed to the hospital, and toxicology test reports in most cases are awaited. Now, sources suggest that drugs like Rohypnol and GHB could have been used to render the victims defenseless. The attack reportedly happened at about 9:15 p.m. on the Rue du Palais in the Metz Inn, northeastern France. And what makes this crime even more chilling is that posts on social media had called for women to be targeted during the music festival. France is now left grappling with a sickening question. How did this happen? How could predators roam free among many armed with syringes, turning a night of celebration into a nightmare? My colleague Rishabh is joining us for more on this. Rishabh, what's the latest that the authorities are saying? This is extremely shocking and a rather concerning situation that has unfolded in France.
Well, if we talk about, France, the way things have happened at the music festival, about a million of people were on streets, and now the Interior Ministry suggests that 145 women have now come and have claimed that they have been stabbed by a needle that has syringe that had drugs in it, and there are reports that there could be fatal drugs as well, and a few actually left them defenseless for that matter. Now about 15 to 20 suspects have been taken into custody, and this showcases that how Paris is turning lawless, and that is something that needs to be seen, that needs to be considered by the authorities. And this is not first. We have seen stabbing on the streets of Paris. The pickpocketing near Eiffel Tower is also something that has caused concern to tourists, and now this, what we are seeing, is definitely horrendous, and the visuals that have come in is horrific. After the police acted upon it, about 1,500 people have been injured as well at various places. So definitely something that needs consideration by the authorities in France, and the government needs to act upon it as soon as possible, because this is not just an eye-opener. This is something that will leave many in France sleepless.
Absolutely, Rishabh. Stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you for the latest. At the moment, viewers, what we're getting to know is that across France, 12 suspects have been arrested over the last 2 days. Among them were 4 people from southwestern city of Angoulême, who are suspected of having targeted about 50 victims at this particular festival. Apart from those suspects, more than 370 people were detained during the festival on various charges, including nearly 90 people from Paris alone. 14 participants in the festivities were seriously injured, including a 17-year-old who's been hospitalized after being found sitting on the street with stab wounds to the lower abdomen. 13 members of law enforcement were also injured. I'm right now joined by Adwaita Kale, activist. She's an Indian author and activist. Adwaita, this is extremely concerning. Unfortunately, this is not also the first time that France is seeing such a needle-injecting attack at nightclubs. It has happened before, but the magnitude of this is extremely concerning.
The magnitude is really a consequence of prior planning, and Europe has a serious problem because of this unstinted migration that has taken place, as a result of which there is a real problem between communities and being able to adapt and fit in. And not only that, but the growing resentment against a particular way of life, which is the Western way of life. And that is the prevalent culture in Europe. Unfortunately, what we're seeing increasingly is a sense of resentment and anger against that culture. And this, I'm afraid, will only grow. This is but one example. Remember, we had that example in Germany as well, wherein women were assaulted, physically assaulted. So this is very, very problematic, and I don't know what kind of solution Europe is going to be able to find at this stage.
That's right. Adwaita, thanks very much for joining us at the moment. Right now, I'm joined also by Yogita Bayana. Yogita, your thoughts? This is concerning. As Advaita was saying, it is a dilemma that Europe faces today and they'll have to deal with it. But the question is how?
See, absolutely, I echo the same thought, what she was mentioning, and it is up to the governments to kind of deal with the situation of immigration. But when it comes to crime against women, no matter what, there is no excuse for it, whatever might be the reason. But this is not acceptable, and a mass attack, and especially on one particular gender, definitely it has to be looked upon that what is the psyche behind it, what are the thoughts, and why they are not going punished, like how come they have that kind of courage to kind of commit such crimes, that too at mass level. I think governments have to definitely, I think it is a diplomatic kind of this has to get some intervention from the agencies, diplomatic agencies also across, and a message from UN also I think is needed in this particular thing. I assume because it's not counting one number, two number, or it is not internal, it is kind of involving multiple countries. And whatever it is definitely they will deal with the immigration. But when it is coming, to such a large number of women being attacked, I think something really needs some kind of international attention.
How much of that do you think would help, Yogita? Since different countries across Europe have seen such a type of attacks earlier as well. Obviously, as you said, UN and other global agencies should weigh in on this. But at the government level, do you think it is something that can be resolved quickly?
It is definitely a dialogue, or you can say the communication from the top brass has to go to the people and instill some kind of confidence that, okay, they are working on reverse migration, or they are working on, the laws around immigration. And it is something might be irritating the local people there. I understand that. But there has to be some way to deal with it, and the country has to kind of come out with a solution. There involving multiple agencies might not be the right thing, but it is to be dealt internally there. But involving the other women, I think other countries need to kind of have that kind of a dialogue and a support system for the same.
Right. Yogita, thanks very much for joining us on Times Now. I'm also joined by Rahul Ishwar on the phone line. Rahul Ishwar, your thoughts on this rather shocking and concerning wave of attack that has come in on French women, on women who were present at the nightclub. Of course, as we've been saying, this is not the first time that Europe is seeing such an attack across different countries, but it is still happening. That is a matter of concern.
Let us make this very clear. I believe in pluralism. I believe in, I'm a Gandhian, but this is absolutely condemnable and unforgivable. This pertains to the security of the women in Europe, and those people who are found convicted should be deported. There are no two ways about it. See, these are not the things where we can take any kind of a soft stand. This is concerning, many reports are there that 8 rape drugs have been used, and such discussion is also going on. So those people who are doing this have the mindset of extremists. Why don't we openly say that? They are having the mind of extremists, and these people should be deported without fail. And see, yes, integration should be there. Migration is a very sensitive issue. We should respect all that. But what can ever be any kind of a soft peddling on such a serious issue where poor innocent women who are going to enjoy a party are subjected to syringe attack, and rape drugs are being injected to them and exploited after this. So there are no two ways about it. Deportation of those people who are convicted. I'm not saying everyone should be done. Migration is a sensitive issue. We should respect that, and we need to have a humanistic perspective to that. Nobody is denying that. But these criminals, these extremists, they need to be deported, and whoever does that is again anti-human. It is crime against humanity, and they should be severely dealt with so that nobody will even further think about doing such a thing. Yes, humanity on one hand, and strong action against this kind of extremist element on other hand should be the way ahead.
The fact that this has been happening across different countries, Rahul Ishwar, and I understand what you're saying as far as, inclusivity is concerned, but also clamping down on those who are breaking laws, those who are committing such crimes is concerned. What do you think is the solution then? Different governments have to weigh in on such elements. They have to make stringent laws, but I believe they're already there.
See, this is the reason where we need to have intellectual honesty and political honesty. Rather than merely political correctness, we need to have political honesty. Yes, integration should be there, a kind of migration for supporting the local population and supporting, especially from war-torn countries, need to be there. I don't think anybody with their right mindset will be against it. But those people who are criminals, unless they are punished, unless they are deported, it will create a problem. And there are other people who do so. For example, some influencers have pointed out there have been online calls regarding targeting women. How can you even think about such a thing? So that's the reason why Europe is having let us be honest about it, Europe is having a demographic crisis. Europe also needs some kind of a stable population from other nations. We all respect that. Along with that, the Middle East nations and many nations are war-torn countries. They need security. A healthy population transfer can definitely take place. But extremist criminal elements, for example, in UK, grooming gangs are there. This is admitted in UK Parliament itself. Nobody can deny that. Those people with such perverted mindset should be dealt with the strong, arms of law.
Right, Rahul Ishwar, thanks very much for joining us at the moment. Of course, sharing your perspective. This is an extremely concerning situation, viewers, that has emerged out of France. Remember, I've been saying this is not the first time that France is seeing such a needle attack on people who are partying at nightclubs. This has happened earlier as well, back in 2021 and 22. There were similar attacks and there was, government clampdown. There were advisories that were put out, but it has not been limited to France. Countries like UK and Ireland have also seen instances where, such syringe terror has been unleashed on people at nightclubs and during festivities. We'll keep getting you more and more from what has been happening and what the French police, French authorities are saying on this. Right now, it's time for a short break.